25th of July, 1978, a baby girl is born in Oldham, England. The headlines erupt. They don't use her name, just labels. A threat to humanity, a step too far. Religious leaders condemn it, scientists fear the worst. And the public call it playing God. Behind those headlines are two ordinary people, Leslie and John. 9 years of trying, 9 years of hope and loss. They're exhausted and they're grieving their dreams of becoming parents. But somewhere in their absolute desperation, they say yes to something, not because it makes sense, but because it's their only glimmer of hope. It's hard to believe that less than 50 years ago, the idea of a baby conceived outside of the human body was unbelievable, untrustworthy, dangerous even. That baby girl, Louise Brown, the world's first IVF baby. Since then, 10 million babies have been born through IVF, more than the population of Sweden. Today, IVF is considered a medical norm, accepted. But what changed? Our trust boundary. We all have one. It's the invisible line between what feels safe and what doesn't. No two people have the same trust boundary. It's based on our experiences, it's based on our lessons, and it's based on our fears. It's also influenced by the people around us. Trust boundaries aren't fixed. They shrink when we feel exposed, and they expand when we feel seen. They're open when we're curious, and the moment we feel uncertain or we feel out of control, they contract. You'll know that feeling of, I'm not quite ready yet. That's our trust boundary speaking. Our trust boundaries have been tested in recent years. Once, we thought that online dating was unsafe. Today, 40% of all couples meet that way. Remote working was once regarded as a perk or a privilege. Today, it's expected in employment contracts everywhere. Trust isn't fixed or linear. It bends, it breaks, it rebuilds. It shapes the way that we live, breathe, and behave. The thing is, we haven't been taught how to trust, not at school, not at work, maybe not even at home. Yet, it is the foundation of everything. When we go to school and we go into the playground, we're not taught to choose how to trust. We just go with what feels safe, what feels familiar. But trust is at the center of everything. It's not just a gut reaction, it's not just something we feel. It may even be tied to fear. I remember growing up and thinking the world got easier, that we were making progress. But actually, today, it feels really hard, and trust is at the center of that. We're navigating a world where fake news travels faster than facts. Tech mimics our faces, our voices, even our identities. Politics, once about leading us, today feels like it divides us. For most of us, our trust boundaries are shrinking. And that's not surprising. We're not talking about building trust blindly, but trust is a system. It's complex, it's messy. But without trust, everything breaks down. But before we can expect trust from others, we have to understand our own relationship with trust. How do we give it? What feels comfortable? When do we hold it back? When does it come easy? And what's at the edge of our boundaries? And that's what I help leaders do. I help them build trust within themselves. I help them build trust within their teams in order to enable them to lead fearlessly. But let's take a step back. and zoom out. What if we stopped trusting everything? We made that decision, and we stopped trusting the water in our taps. We stopped trusting our friends, our family, our loved ones. We started questioning everything. How long before society collapses? A week, a day, an hour? Trust isn't abstract. Trust is a system. It's the infrastructure, the invisible force that holds everything together, and we need a system to rebuild that. It's not clean, it's not logical, it's messy, even human. When we were born, trust was infinite. We cry, someone comes. As children, trust is belief. We believe in Santa. We believe in superheroes, the Tooth Fairy. As teenagers, trust starts to wobble. It feels real. The protective layers fall off. Friends change. We're in love one day. They're with our best friend the next. We start to learn that trust comes with some T's and C's. In adulthood, this is where trust gets really messy and complex. We get made redundant from a job that we love. We find out that someone's been taking credit for all our work. We get divorced. We start to build boundaries. We say, I'm fine, when we're really not. So what happens? We pull back. We start to protect ourselves from all that pain. Until eventually we get to this new stage, a new point, a decision point. We understand that trust doesn't just happen. It's a choice, a conscious choice. And so we arrive at this crossroad. Some call it the midlife crisis. I call it the internal restructure. And so we make the choice to trust. Not because it's easy or safe, but because there's a cost not to trust. And in that moment, choosing to trust is one of the biggest risks. But in that risk has the ability to change everything. I know I had to make that choice. I've had trust, I've lost trust, I was scared to trust again. That's what happens when your partner cheats on you, not once, but twice. I'm having lunch with my sister in June 2023. It's a beautiful summer's afternoon. And out of nowhere, she says, there's an opportunity to go and live in Ibiza. Oh, I'll go. My reaction is so immediate that I surprise myself. It's 18 months after all the shit, and I just started feeling settled back in London. But in that moment, I knew I had to go. There wasn't a choice. I didn't know why, but I needed to go. And so I leave. I pack up, and I land in Ibiza. It's super quiet. Pin drop silence quiet, which is really surprising because I'm sure you all know Ibiza is the party capital of the world. But as I arrive and as I start to settle, these voices come back. This is an extract from my diary 4 weeks in. What the fuck? Why are these voices back? 3 years of therapy, and bang, from nowhere, they're back. You don't deserve love. Why would anyone trust you? You didn't even notice him cheat, and you let him do it again. He got married within months. They had a baby. You couldn't even do that. You don't deserve to be a mum. These voices are back. They're louder this time, much louder, maybe in tune to the beats on the island. I need to escape these voices. I need some friends. I go on a hike. The island is stunning. Highly recommend it for anyone who hasn't been. But I fall, and I get 8 stitches on my face. This is the extract from that night. All I want to do is leave and go home, but I can't. That would mean I failed. And failing isn't an option. I failed at everything. Work, life, love. I need this to be something. Why did I even come to Ibiza? Was it to hide the failures, the loneliness, the screw-ups? Not having a baby? Maybe I'm lying. Maybe I can't do this. But really, I know I can't go home. I can't tell anyone how bad it really is. I've got to do this for myself. I've got to prove to myself I can. The most difficult part of being in Ibiza is being with myself. No distractions, no structure, no idea about what comes next. What I do know is it's not about him. It's about me and building trust within myself. I'm at that crossroad, that midlife crisis, that internal restructure. I have a choice. Do I choose to build that trust? Do I choose to build that system? I choose to. I choose to build confidence, resilience, and self-belief. Because without trust, there is nothing else. And so, I also choose to stay in Ibiza because I don't have to be in the spotlight if I come home. Research conducted by Cornell University shows that we overestimate how much other people judge us or notice us. We're never in the spotlight, except, of course, today. But most of us use that illusion to fuel our shame, to make us not want to do the things and stop us doing those things. But actually, we shouldn't. You know those moments when you've just come back from lunch and you've spilt this big stain on your jumper or your shirt? You think everybody's noticing it. The haircut that you absolutely hate, nobody notices. You're at the center of your universe and they are at the center of theirs. But what this research does do is give us permission to be ourselves and trust ourselves and risk it all again. Because self-trust is where every other type of trust starts. Yet, most of us start from self-doubt, not self-trust. Think about your trust boundaries and what the next 4 words do. We need to talk. You've gone to that place of fear. You've gone to that place of self-doubt. You're wondering and assuming you've done something wrong. But we have a choice. We have a choice of how we reframe that. Because trust is a choice. It always has been. We choose who we trust. We choose what we trust, and we also choose when we hold it back. Trust is a system. It has layers. First, there's the trust that we hold within ourselves. Second is the trust we create with others, with our teams, with our people. Third is the choice with society and how we feel about new technology, new infrastructure, new innovations. Because trust starts with decisions, and trust starts with actions. Trust isn't just abstract, it's the infrastructure that holds everything together. And it starts with an action. Wherever your journey And whatever your relationship with trust is, starts with an action. My action was coming back home. Your action today is to think of something that you've never shared with anyone, something part of you has always wanted to share. It could be a thank you, an apology, something you've never shared before. Underneath your chairs, there's a card, stamped and ready. I want you to write it. I want you to send it. Do you trust yourself to send it? If your instinct is to say, I can't, notice that, because that's where your trust boundary is. Trust isn't just passive. It's not just something that happens. We have to practice it. Not in theory, but in action. And when you find trust in yourself, others find it in you too. Thank you.